Hey guys, in this tutorial we will continue practicing sculpting and modeling techniques. We will be using wire to create an armature to be covered with paper mache. Materials needed are two kinds of wire, a thick and a thin gauge, a pair of needle nose pliers, and masking tape. Before you get started, you want to prepare your idea. I first created a sketch giving me a good idea of the object's, in this case the elephant's, dimensions. I'm using the thicker wire to trace out the contour of the elephant. Something you will notice when you start working with the thicker wire, with this model I'm using 16 gauge, is that when you start to make small detailed bends, you will need to use pliers. You can use other types of pliers to bend the wire also. One reason I use needle nose pliers is because the tip is smaller and allows you to bend more intricate details. Ideally, you want to make your main contour from one solid piece of wire. Your contour doesn't have to cover the entire object. You could actually break the form of the object into different parts and piece it back together with smaller wire. You will notice that I don't include the back leg in my main contour of the elephant because it is technically not in the main foreground. When you have completed a contour and you are ready to cut the wire, be sure to leave a little extra wire to overlap what you started with. Then you can use a piece of masking tape to hold the ends of the wire together. The masking tape can be taken off later when the armature is a little bit more secure. After you have completed a main contour, you want to use smaller wire to connect pieces from top to bottom and left to right inside the contour. You're basically making a cross inside your main shape. This allows you to have anchor points to build on as you apply depth to your sculpture. I'm using a piece of thicker wire to create an oval that will show the depth of the elephant's body. After I measure it out by comparing it to the main contour, I shape it with my hands to get the shape I want. I then twist it around the front part of the main contour, close to the elephant's head, and close it at the back by wrapping it again. You could do this also by using masking tape to hold it in place and then using smaller wire to secure it. There's actually many ways to secure the wire and many techniques you could use. Now I have a secured shape to show the depth of the elephant. From here I will be using small wire to basically fill in the gaps and to show the form of the elephant's body. You will notice after you have your main contours secure, you can continue adding small wire to fill in the gaps and make your sculpture look full. The more wire you add, the sturdier the model becomes. As you add small wire to your sculpture, you want to make sure you are pulling it tight and wrapping it around each end that you attach it to. You will notice that you can thread smaller wire, similar to using a needle and string. 22 gauge wire allows you to do this because it is very thin and easy to work with. Just be careful not to get it tangled. I'm bending the legs of the elephant a bit to give me an idea how they will be positioned compared to its body. I will go in with more wire to give the legs dimension so it doesn't look completely flat. This also gives me a better idea how to make the elephant stand up. I added a few small pieces of wire to give the elephant's trunk dimension. Now I'm using small wire to fill in the form of the trunk. I'm both wrapping and weaving the wire to secure it around the trunk. This will make it easier for when I apply the paper mache to show the form of the elephant's trunk. After testing how tall the sculpture is, I need to add a bit more wire to make the legs longer. If you look at my sketch, I have indicated where I want to apply main contour lines to help show form and movement in the elephant. I'm using thicker wire to do this as I start to build the form of each leg. Sometimes you don't necessarily need to wrap the larger wire around other pieces of larger wire to connect them. Here I am unwrapping what I did and using smaller wire to secure the two larger wires together. This seems to make the structure more secure. Once your main structure is put together and it can stand on its own, it's mostly detail work from here. The more wire that you add to the sculpture, the more secure, solid, and detailed it will be. Keep this in mind when thinking about the aesthetics for the piece and how you intend to display it.